Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. And did you get the notification that it's live?
Yes, we got that. Yep.
Okay,
We received the
perfect. So we can
notification. Yep.
start it. Yeah. And can I please request to open? I think we are three at the moment. So if you can please, one of you or both of you can open your video, that will be great so that I can talk to someone.
Yeah, give me some time. Yeah.
Sure,
I'm
sure,
coming to the room.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and sorry to put you on the spot.
No,
So
no, no, you're fine.
we'll start our session. So, again, before we begin, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the universe, to all the enlightened masters who have guided humanity, to Brahmashri Pitama Patriji for bringing the wisdom of meditation into our lives, to the PSSM Australia team for this opportunity, and to Anita Moorjani for courageously sharing her life journey through dying to be me. I also thank each one of you for being here with an open heart, and may this discussion inspire us to live with more love and less fear. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to offer this through Inner Awakening with Shivani in collaboration with PSSM Australia. So we are coming to the last chapter of part one. So Anita have divided the book in three parts. So first is growing up, second is near death experience, and third one is how she lived after that experience and how we should be living. So today is the last of this. So seeking salvation, searching outside for healing, meaning, and reassurance. As illness progresses, Anita looked for answers, cures, and hope in many directions. Yes. So when the search for healing becomes another form of fear for Anita, fear drives the search. After Sony's death, Anita was overwhelmed by anger, dread, frustration, fear, and desperation. She feared not only for herself, but also for what her death might mean for Danny and her family. That fear pushed her into an intense search for healing. She tried hypnotherapy, meditation, prayer, chanting, Chinese herbs, and eventually traveled to India to study yoga and Ayurveda. So when we desperately search for a solution, are we always being guided by hope, or can fear sometimes disguise itself as doing everything possible? So there might be a so I relate it with my own journey. So what happened was, in my case, when I got diagnosed, people sent me diet plans, the therapy sessions, the vitamin C injections that help in cancer. Until they, whatever they find on internet, a single reel about cancer, they will send it to me. And there it goes to Shivani. And trust me, I am completely grateful for their love from the bottom of my heart, because I know they're only sending because they care, they thought about me. But it is, and till now, it is overwhelming for me. And in my case, especially, I love sugar and I have no favorite sweets because I love all sweets. And they say cancer, they say that cancer lives on sugar. So when I see friends who are dealing, with it as well and are on very strict diet, what happens to me? I goes in guilt mode, and I've seen many times that it takes me a lot of time to come out of that, guilt and recover. So that guilt creeps in as I have a fear that if I don't do this or don't do that, I may end up dying. And I think the constant fear for the life is different than any other fear. So I feel Anita from where she is coming. So we need to again search the areas in our life that where we are trying to find the solution, But then that solution is bringing hope, or we are getting all the information possible, and that is putting us into a fear mode. For a while, she felt healed. In India, Anita followed a strict routine of vegetarian food, herbs, yoga, and disciplined living. In Anita's words, she's saying, I did this for months and actually started to feel much better. He was an amazing guru who didn't even believe that I had cancer. I told him that the medical doctors had conducted tests and confirmed I have lymphoma. To which he said, the guru he's referring to is one of the Ayurveda guru that she went to India to get her treatment. So he said, cancer is just a word and creates fear. Forget about that word and let's just focus on balancing your body. All illnesses are just symptoms of imbalance. No illness can remain when your entire system is in balance. I really enjoyed my time under my um, yoga master help, and he helped elevate my fears around cancer. At the end of 6 months, he was convinced that I was healed, and so was I. I felt victorious, as though I had finally made the big breakthrough, and I was anxious to go back home and reunite with Danny. I'd missed him terribly and had so much to share with him. So she began to feel much better physically and emotionally, almost that they have cured the cancer. After 6 months, both Anita and her teacher believed they had healed, so she returned to Hong Kong feeling victorious. But then something changed. People around her questioned whether Ayurveda could really treat cancer. Their doubt became her doubt. Their fear became her fear. And slowly, the confidence she had regained began to disappear. So, did you see what happened? How other people doubt brings the fear back. So, do we trust our own experience? Should we trust our own experience? Or we need other people to validate it before we can even believe it? So, do you know Gurpinder ma'am, Anita?
Yes, yes. I
Yes.
joined all her class
Yes.
sessions at the time.
Yes. So Gurpinder ma'am been telling me this from nearly 2 years. Shivani, stop looking outside for hope and validation that someone will come and help you to heal. It's you. It's only you. Go inside and heal yourself. Act like a master. You are a master. And it took me that long to start believing in myself. And still, I think I believe 99%, but then there is still tiny bit. And today, I really believe that it will be out. But I could reach to this point because I had done a lot of inner work as well. And I
Of course.
strongly suggest everyone don't run away from your triggers. And only way to heal is to face them. So it's a long journey. Start today. Too many paths, too much confusion. In hindsight, when that began to happen, I should have gone back to India to regain my health again. Instead, I actually started to be influenced by the skepticism I was facing over my choice of treatment, so I remained in Hong Kong, Anita said. So she's saying instead of going back where she healed, Anita then explored traditional Chinese medicine and Western naturopathy. But each system seemed to contradict the others. Ayurveda encouraged one type of diet, Chinese medicine recommended something different, and then Western neuropathy warned against food that Ayurveda considered useful. So she was getting conflicting messages from every discipline. In Western naturopathy system, sugar and dairy are considered absolute no-nos. In fact, they are seen as food that feed the growth of cancer cells. According to the system she was researching, sugar feeds the mutated cells. But in Ayurveda, where she was actually healed and felt better, on the other hand, dairy is a must, and sugar and sweet foods are required as part of a balanced diet. So, based on balancing all the different taste buds. So now her mind is confused that where she had gone better. She was eating dairy and sugar, whereas now where she is in naturopathy, it is not allowed. Soon Anita became frightened for eating almost anything. The more answers she searched for, the more confused she became. And the more confused she became, the more fearful she became. So Anita kept searching in order to feel safer, but every new system gave her another thing to worry about. So we also live our life like that, isn't it? We have one system, and what do we do? What do we do when something happens? Some little thing happens. What do we do? Anita, you're laughing. I know you know that. What do we do?
Yeah, we go for the alternate one and then
Yeah, we go to the
change, change,
Google.
change.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? We go, what happened? I'm having the fever today. Now, today is Chat GPT. So we probably put all the system and ask Chat GPT to diagnose, what is happening.
Oh, tell me
So,
about it.
yeah, so then we read 10 different explanations. We ask 5 people. We watch 6 videos because it is the information is so easily available. And instead of feeling reassured, we now have 11 new things to worry about. So, at what point does seeking information stop giving us clarity and start feeling anxiety? So, this is the question we need to ask. And please note, not saying that seeking information is wrong, it's just putting an emphasis on the balance. Like a yoga teacher said, forget that word and let's just focus on balancing on your body. All illnesses are just symptoms of imbalance. No illness can remain when your entire system is in balance. So, maintaining balance means yes, your food is one part of it, but your happiness, your joy, your fear, all levels needs to be balanced. Next slide. Today Chandra is not there, so I'm just struggling with it. Yeah.
He just came online. Yeah.
Oh, Chandra is here. Chandra is
Yeah.
listening. Yes. Yes. So he is in his, I think, daughter's class, so he might not be able to. He wasn't home.
Mm.
Yes. So illness become her identity. As Anita's health declined, she began withdrawing from people. She did not like being looked at with pity. She did not want people treating her as though she was no longer normal. And I don't know if this happens for spiritual persons, as I strongly felt the same that I need to be brave, do not be pity on me, or it's just every person dealing with same disease. I do not know. But anyways, even worse, some people interpreted her illness through the idea of karma, as though she must have done something in a previous life to deserve what was happening. Because Anita herself believed in karma, this deeply affected her. Instead of feeling supported, she began feeling ashamed and helpless. So here is very, very important aspect. Anita is asking us to look inside us because we are all spiritual masters here, right? So what happens when a spiritual belief turns into a suffering? Do you want to share any example where you would have felt that a spiritual belief turned into your suffering? Anyone? No? I'll give a simple example and that might make a sense. So many times I felt guilty, I felt angry, and I felt sad and disappointed with myself because I wasn't able to meditate for as long as I thought I should. Many people told me and came, you should sit longer, 3 hours. You should be sitting 3 hours, and that will help to heal. So sometimes I genuinely wanted to meditate, but my body was exhausted, or the medication made me fall asleep, or sometimes I simply didn't want to sit. I'm just angry on everything. I don't want to do anything. So instead of accepting what my body needed in that moment, I judged myself for not doing enough meditation. And that made me realize that even a beautiful spiritual practice can become another pressure if we turn it into a measure of whether we are doing life correctly. So we are in habit to judge everything. So even if you do or not do meditation, so there look in your life if there is any spiritual belief that is, instead of helping and elevating your life, is draining or putting pressure on yourself. Everyone thinks I'm so brave. So even while she was Detroiting, Anita kept smiling. She laughed, she made conversation. She wanted to appear positive, so she continued to put the feelings and needs of everyone else before her own. People told her how brave she was. They admired her, how well she seemed to be coping. And Anita says that was not how she felt inside. She was performing positivity because she did not want other people to worry or to feel uncomfortable. So once again, she placed everyone else's feelings before her own. Again, this is very important, powerful part of this chapter. Sometimes we praise someone for being strong without realizing that our praise may make them feel they must continue appearing strong. So we keep on, sometimes we do this with our kids as well. You're very brave, you're doing great, you're doing this. But we do not give them a safe space to come and tell you that they are scared, that they are actually what they are feeling in that moment. Because you have pumped them up saying you're brave, they keep on repeating the same thing. I'll give you an example. So between my husband and me, he is naturally the more positive and optimistic one. He's more positive than me. People say I'm positive, he's more positive. So after my recent hospital episode, the days that followed were emotionally very overwhelming for me. So whenever I tried to tell him that I was scared, he would often remind me of teachings from the Bhagavad Gita, that we cannot control what is going on, what is going to happen. So we should focus on present and enjoy the life we have. I said, I'm worried about the kids. And he's like, so what can you do? Can you do anything? You can only prepare them for the, whatever the verse is. We just need to make our kids stronger. And I understand where he's coming from. Perhaps he feels he has to stay strong and positive so that I don't lose hope or I don't go very low. But sometimes in that moment, I do not need an answer or a teaching. I know what Bhagavad Gita say. I know I'm spiritual myself. I have read my books. I simply want to hear, Shivani, I know you're scared and I'm scared too. But whatever happens, we will go through it together. So sometimes reassurance is not about removing the fear, it is simply about feeling that we do not have to carry the fear alone. So this is basically, I felt that someone sometimes need someone to feel what I'm feeling. Sorry. So coming back to Anita, the cage became smaller. Eventually, Anita stopped answering the phone and stopped going out. She did not want people's pity. She did not want advice. She did not want to repeatedly explain what was happening. Her world became smaller and smaller. She describes herself as living inside a cage of fear and desperation. She began envying every healthy person she saw. Each morning brought a little hope. Each evening brought another feeling of defeat. Eventually, she began questioning whether she still had the strength to keep fighting. The doctors had almost no options left. By this stage, Anita was frequently in hospital for blood transfusions and supportive treatment. She was extremely weak, breathless, losing weight, and increasingly unable to function. Her doctor privately told Danny that the cancer had spread aggressively and that Anita might have around only 3 months to live. Her body had become too weak even for chemotherapy. Danny did not immediately tell Anita, but she sensed something was wrong. One day she asked, One day I asked him, Am I going to die? We are all going to die sometime, he said. I know that's silly. I can't hurt. I mean, now, because of the cancer. What if I die? Then I'm going to come and get you and bring you back. He responded gently, stroking my head as I lay on the bed. It is such a simple response, but it reveals how helpless love can feel when there is nothing left to fix. Sorry. So, love without obligation. Anita's condition became extremely severe. This was about 6 weeks after the last meeting with the doctor. By now, breathing had become a labored task, and an oxygen tank was my permanent companion. I couldn't lie down, needing to be popped up all the times to keep from drowning in my own fluids. Every time I tried to lie flat, I started choking and had difficulty breathing. So, changing my position in bed became an impossible task. My body broke into out in lesions all over. So many toxins and invaded my system that my skin was forced to open and release the poisons within. Many times I woke up in a heavy sweat, my clothes soaked through, night sweats being a common symptom of lymphoma. Often my skin itched all over, as though ants were crawling all over me. I recall one night when the itching was so strong that no matter how I scratched myself, it wouldn't subsidize. Jenny got ice cubes from the freezer and put them into Ziploc bags, and we rubbed these ice packs all over my legs, arms and body in order to soothe my inflamed skin. It took a long time, but the itchiness finally subsidized. Most of our nights were sleepless. So she became completely dependent on Danny for almost everything. She cared for her wounds, helped wash her hair. He sat beside her through sleepless nights. He watched her breathing, and Anita noticed something important. Danny was never cared for her because he had to. She felt that everything he did came from love. So she was still protecting everyone else. Even when Anita was extremely ill, she continued telling people, I'm fine. She knew Danny was suffering. She knew her mother was devastated. And rather than allowing herself simply to be the person who needed care, she was still trying to protect everyone else emotionally. This connects directly back to Anita's childhood. Remember the little girl who decided, I must never become a problem. So on 1st February 2006, something shifted inside Anita. Physically, she was still extremely ill, but emotionally, she suddenly felt calmer. The sky looked beautiful, the world seemed peaceful, and the thought arose, the world won't stop if I'm not in it. For perhaps the first time in years, she stopped fighting. She's saying, my body ached, and my breathing was difficult and labored. So I went to bed. Because I was in pain all over and couldn't sleep, the nurse administered morphine just before she left at the end of the day so that I could get some rest. But something was different. I could feel myself relaxing and letting go of the strong grip with which I had been clinging to life. All the time, it was as though I had been hanging from the edge of a cliff. I had been fighting a losing battle, struggling to hold on. I was finally ready to let go of everything that I had been gripping so tightly. I felt myself sink into a deep sleep. She describes herself as though she had been hanging from the edge of a cliff, desperately gripping on, and now she felt ready to release that grip. So the next morning, 2nd of February 2006, she did not open her eyes. Denny called the doctor and rushed her to the hospital. And this takes us directly back to the prologue, the day I died. It was an emotional chapter, sorry. So, the title Seeking Salvation. So, Anita spent years seeking something that would save her, that a treatment, a system, a diet, a guru, a belief, a technique, something, a perfect answer. But underneath all that searching was enormous fear. And perhaps that is the deeper paradox of this chapter. She was trying desperately to save her life, but fear had already made her experience of life smaller and smaller. And this does not mean that seeking treatment, information, or support is wrong. But again, the deeper question is what is the driver of that search? Is that fear or is that love? So again, we are coming to the question that we need to ask. We'll keep on reminding you to ask throughout this book. Please check in your lives what is driving back every decision. Is this fear or is this love? Is this fear or is this information? Is this fear or is this an answer? So keep checking. Because Anita's story now reaches a remarkable turning point, for years she had been trying to fight, control, fix, search, and survive. And strangely, just before the experience that would transform everything, she finally did something completely different. What did she do? Any answer? What did she do?
Stop fighting.
Stop fighting. She let go. She is now losing the grip. She is letting it go. And this motivated me in that moment to, when I was going through the fear, when I was actually diagnosed with this cancer. So what I remember was to just surrender, completely surrender. And it was like, Shivani, you cannot do anything. There is nothing in your control. Just let it go and we'll see what it comes. So, when you let go, when you surrender, I guess the higher forces come into play and they look after you. But we are when the more we are trying to trying to control or having a grip of things, the more it is hard. The resistance become makes the life so hard to live. So just surrender and let go. So with this, we end the chapter and we are open for any questions.
Yeah, it was very, yeah, emotional chapter, right? She
It
has
is,
gone through so much of suffering,
yes,
and on top of that, she is basically a person who cares for others, and everybody in the
yes,
family as well going through. It's like a double
yeah,
emotional.
yeah. For me, it touches, it actually hits. exact spots sometimes when I'm reading. So that makes me emotional. Uh,
Mm.
yeah. So
But on the positive side, I think she had, what I understood is she had at least some good financial condition to go to
yes,
good hospitals,
yes,
and the best of everything is she had a loving husband, because it's
yes.
really difficult to find such person.
Yes, it is very difficult. I'm just thinking how the life would have been if Danny wasn't there for
Exactly.
her. It's triple difficult because at least there is someone looking after her, and she actually felt it is not because he had to, because he's a husband, but he was doing it as a love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's good that she don't have kids. I know it's silly,
Yes.
but it's less burden in that situation, right?
Yes. It is
Yeah,
less burden. It is definitely um and you at one point, like with myself, I think Deepak will be okay, that's fine if I'm not there. I am not scared of the other side of the death, is because I've listened to numerous near death experiences and I've read stories, so I know the other side is beautiful, so that's fine. If I go, I go. And when I've also heard, when someone's go, there is no attachment to this world. So for that part, I'm okay as well. I know I'll be okay. And when I think of Deepak, I think he's okay. But then when the kids come in mind, that's where the emotional, things start to happen. So in a
yeah.
way, it is good that she didn't have a kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. Basically, I mean, I didn't read the book, but what I'm thinking, she's came back to the body because she could spread and inspire other such people.
Yes.
That could be one of her life mission. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we will learn in coming chapters how, in that as well, she was in surrendered mode. She didn't force her story to come to the world. It automatically, the things happen and it came. People reached out to her to do that, and it is explained in the later part of the story. So the whole book is about, the first chapter, I guess it's all about fear, the first part. Second is the facts, and third is how she started living in surrender, love, and let go and ease and everything. She just stopped everything, and this is, I guess, the third part is basically telling us how to live life.
that's good. I
Yeah.
think in one life she learned so many important
Yes.
skills.
Yes. Yes. She did.
If she fixed herself onto like one thing, would she have been a different ending to
Sorry.
her? If she's decided to do just one instead of going into like many other modes, like Chinese meditation, Ayurveda, and she jumped into too many things. So was that the reason that she, you know, I
Couldn't
don't
heal.
know, it couldn't heal? Yeah, why wasn't she able to heal?
No, no, it is not. That's what I. And again, this will come in coming chapters when she explain. Whenever whatever happens to us, and especially the deadly disease like cancer, it is not only one reason. It is the accumulation of your childhood traumas, like her life story. The reason she had given this in so detail is because she's trying to tell it is not only one event that had caused this to happen to her. It is a multiple reasons and the side effects of them, and the what we call multifold. One thing is connected to other. It's not one thing, so it's very complex structure. So if regardless she would have followed one diet or no, or one thing or no, we cannot say whether she would have survived or no. Yeah. So for Ayurveda as well, I think she spent 6 months and she changed. If she would have continued to follow that, probably yes, maybe because she felt healed, but there is no guarantees. And it's again, she has specifically mentioned it's a accumulation of things, it's a combination of things that lead us to this, or any disease for that matter. Yeah. I think this what I'm thinking is this story is not only about us as well. It is about what we are teaching our children, what we are doing to the children. It is more, it is as a parents, we are taking a lessons. We are, taking a class. I'm taking, so when I'm reading, I'm also reading from that perspective, that this is my parenting class as well, that what do I need to teach children, and how do I need to, how should I ask them, how should I, behave with them, what should be, what I should be understanding many aspects this book. That's why I have included so many questions, so at least something strikes in the mind and it stays there with you when you're dealing with life or your children, you know. Yeah. Cool. We are ready for meditation then.
Yeah, I'll play the music.
Yeah.
Can you stop the recording? I'll play
Yeah.
the music.
Oh yeah,
And
we